The silence of the night shattered as Ṣèyí screamed, her voice piercing the air. "No, don't hurt us!" she cried, shielding Àbíké from Kunle's grasp. His face twisted into a menacing grin as he loomed over them. The dim oil lamp flickered, amplifying their fear. No help was coming. Madame Funmileo was a respected widow in Ìbàdàn, juggling her fabric business at Oba Market with raising her 2 daughters. To lighten her burden, she hired Kunle, a young man from her hometown, as a house help. His quiet demeanor and willingness to work earned him instant trust and praise. Kunle appeared hard-working and respectful, qualities Madame Funmileo admired. He maintained the house meticulously, entertained the children with stories, and seemed dependable. Her neighbors even envied her for finding such a diligent helper. However, beneath this facade lay a sinister man, waiting for the perfect opportunity to prey on the vulnerable. Ṣèyí, aged 10, and her sister Àbíké, aged 7, were playful and curious girls who quickly warmed up to Kunle. He entertained them with Yoruba folk tales about clever tortoises and magical spirits. At first, they saw him as a protective older brother figure, but that trust would soon be shattered. In the beginning, everything seemed normal. Kunle's playful nature made the girls comfortable, and Madame Funmileo trusted him to look after them. However, subtle changes in his behavior emerged. He restricted their playtime, becoming overbearing. "Stay inside," he warned. "It's dangerous outside." The girls thought he was just protective. The change was gradual. Kunle became stricter with the girls, scolding them for minor mistakes like spilling water or forgetting chores. The once friendly helper started locking the compound's main gate, claiming it was for their safety. His demeanor changed, becoming controlling. This shift marked the beginning of their nightmare. On a stormy night, Madame Funmileo was delayed at the market. The girls sat in the living room playing with their clay dolls, while the rain poured outside. Kunle entered, his eyes cold and commanding. "Come here," he said, pointing to the sofa. Hesitant, they obeyed, sensing something wasn't right. The tension in the air was suffocating. Kunle locked the front door, turned off the main lantern, and left only a faint oil lamp flickering. "You too have been very naughty," he said, his voice eerily calm. His tone made their hearts race. Àbíké clung to Ṣèyí, visibly shaking. "Oh," Àbíké asked, "what did we do wrong?" her small voice trembling. Kunle didn't answer immediately but smirked instead, his expression unsettling. Suddenly, he grabbed Àbíké's arm, pulling her toward him. She screamed, struggling to free herself, but his grip was firm. Ṣèyí shouted, trying to stop him, but failed. "Be quiet," Kunle snapped, his voice harsh. He pushed Ṣèyí away, her small body landing on the sofa. Terrified, she got back up, scratching and clawing at him to protect her sister. But Kunle was much stronger. He shoved her down again, his menacing glare silencing her desperate attempts. "You!" The night turned into their worst nightmare. Kunle's sinister intentions became painfully clear as the girls endured unimaginable horrors. He warned them afterward, his tone ice-cold. "If you tell anyone, I'll hurt your mother. Do you want her to die?" Their terrified silence was his weapon, leaving them helpless. The next morning, the girls sat silently at the dining table. Madame Funmileo noticed their red, swollen eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked gently, her voice filled with concern. They didn't answer, too scared of Kunle's threats. He walked in, smiling innocently. "They're just tired, Ma," he said casually. Over the following weeks, the abuse became a horrific routine. Kunle locked the front door as soon as Madame Funmileo left for work. He held the girls captive, using threats and violence to maintain their silence. The once lively house now felt like a prison, suffocating them daily. Ṣèyí, though only 10, felt the weight of protecting her younger sister. She tried to shield Àbíké from Kúnlè's wrath as much as possible, but she was just a child herself. Every night she whispered prayers to Olorun, God, hoping for a miracle to save them from their nightmare. Madame Funmaleo remained oblivious to the horror unfolding in her own home. She trusted Kúnlè completely, praising him for his hard work. Even when she noticed the girls becoming quieter and more withdrawn, she attributed it to them missing their father. Her misplaced trust gave Kúnlè even more power. One evening, after another harrowing encounter, Ṣèyí decided she couldn't take it anymore. She had to find a way to escape. She remembered Babatunji, their wise family elder who lived nearby. If we can reach Babatunji, he'll help us, she whispered to Àbíké, planting seeds of hope. Àbíké hesitated, fear gripping her small heart. But he'll find us, she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. Ṣèyí held her tightly and said, "We have to try. If we don't, it'll never stop." That night, as Kúnlè snored in his room, Ṣèyí began formulating their escape plan carefully. Over the next few days, Ṣèyí observed Kúnlè's routines. She noticed he often fell asleep deeply after drinking palm wine. She decided to use this to her advantage. "When he sleeps, we'll take the keys and run," Ṣèyí told Àbíké. Her sister nodded, though fear still lingered in her eyes. One night, after another terrifying ordeal, Kúnlè stumbled into his room and fell into a deep, drunken sleep. Ṣèyí waited until the house was completely silent before tiptoeing into his room. Her heart pounded in her chest as she spotted the keys dangling from his belt on the floor. Quietly, Ṣèyí grabbed the keys and crept back to Àbíké, who was waiting nervously by the door. "Are you ready?" she whispered. Àbíké nodded, clutching her sister's hand tightly. Slowly, they unlocked the front door and stepped into the cool night air. Freedom had never felt so terrifying. The streets of Ìbàdàn were eerily quiet, with only the occasional bark of a dog breaking the silence. Barefoot and trembling, the sisters ran as fast as they could, clutching each other for support. "We have to get to Babatunji's house," Ṣèyí said, her voice trembling but determined. When they reached Babatunji's compound, they banged on the wooden door, their small fists aching from desperation. "Baba, please help us!" Ṣèyí cried. The door creaked open, revealing the elderly man's concerned face. He ushered them inside quickly, alarmed by their disheveled appearance and the terror in their eyes. Inside, the girls told Babatunji everything. Ṣèyí's words were rushed and tearful, detailing the horrors they had endured. Àbíké clung to her sister, sobbing silently. Babatunji's face darkened with anger as he listened. "This is an abomination," he said firmly. "We cannot let this go unpunished." Ṣèyí said, "Jin unchigu akin." Babatunji called his youngest son and sent him to summon the village elders immediately. Within an hour, a group of respected men and women gathered at the house, their lanterns casting long shadows on the walls. The elders listened intently as Babatunji recounted the girl's horrifying story. Outraged, the elders agreed that swift action was necessary. "This cannot be allowed to continue," said Olagba Adejebite, the eldest among them. "That man has betrayed the trust of this family and this community. Justice must be served." Plans were made to confront Kúnlè and protect the girls immediately. At dawn, the elders, accompanied by several neighbors, marched to the Adejobi compound. The crowd was quiet but tense, their anger palpable. Madame Funmaleo, startled by the unexpected gathering outside her house, rushed out. "What's happening?" she asked, tying her wrapper tightly. Her confusion quickly turned to worry. Babatunji stepped forward, his voice firm. "Funmaleo, we need to talk." Your daughters have suffered greatly under your roof, and you didn't even see it." His words struck her like lightning. Her gaze shifted to Ṣèyí and Àbíké, who emerged from the crowd, their faces pale with fear. Bike. Madame Funmalaya's voice shook. She rushed to her daughters, kneeling before them. "What's wrong? What happened?" she asked, tears filling her eyes. Ṣèyí hesitated, her heart breaking at the sight of her mother's pain. Finally she whispered, "Mama, it's Kunle. He hurt us." The words shattered her. Ṣèyí. Madame Funmilayo stumbled backward, clutching her chest. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "That's not possible. Kunle has been nothing but kind." But the truth was undeniable. The fear and pain in her daughter's eyes told her everything she needed to know. Guilt and anger consumed her instantly. As the realization set in, Kunle stepped out of the house, stretching lazily. When he saw the crowd, his face froze.
"What's going on?"
he asked nervously, trying to maintain his composure. Before he could say another word, Alagba Agabatai grabbed him by the arm, his grip unrelenting. "You monster!" The elder spat, his voice filled with fury. "How dare you harm these innocent children?" Under the guise of being their protector? Kunle stammered, trying to deny the accusations, but the crowd was having none of it. His protests were drowned out by shouts of anger and disgust. Kunle was dragged into the center of the compound, where the elders surrounded him. The crowd demanded justice, their voices rising in unison. Madame Funmalayo collapsed onto the ground, wailing uncontrollably. "How could I have been so blind?" she cried, her hands clutching her head as neighbors consoled her. The elders wasted no time. They declared that Kunle would face immediate punishment for his heinous acts. In Yoruba culture, betrayal and harmed children were among the gravest offenses. His punishment would serve as a warning to others who dared to abuse trust and prey on the innocent. Stripped of his dignity, Kunle was tied to a post in the compound as the community delivered their judgment. He was publicly shamed and condemned, his name to be remembered only as a cautionary tale. The crowd's anger was unrelenting, their voices echoing through the streets of Ìbàdàn. After the punishment, the elders decreed that Kunle be banished from the community. "You are no longer welcome here," Alagba Ajebite declared. "May you wander in shame and never find peace." The crowd jeered as Kunle was escorted out of the town, his once proud demeanor reduced to nothing. With Kunen gone, the focus shifted to helping Ṣèyí and Àbíké heal. Baba Tunji and the community rallied around the Adajabi family, offering support and comfort. Traditional cleansing rituals were performed to rid the girls of the darkness brought into their lives, restoring a sense of spiritual balance. Madame Funmalayo vowed to never again place blind trust in anyone. She became more attentive to her daughters, ensuring their voices were heard and their fears addressed. The guilt she carried was heavy, but she channeled it into protecting her family and rebuilding the trust that had been shattered. The community's support was unwavering. Neighbors brought food, helped with chores, and kept watch over the compound. The love and care from those around them gave the family strength to face the challenges ahead. Slowly, the Adajobi household began to heal, though the scars of their ordeal remained. For Ṣèyí and Àbíké, life would never be the same, but they found comfort in each other's resilience. Their bond grew stronger, forged in the fire of their shared trauma. They learned to find moments of joy and laughter again, even as they worked through the pain of their experiences. Their story spread throughout Ìbàdàn and beyond, becoming a cautionary tale for parents and guardians. Evil often hides behind a smile, people would say, reminding one another of the importance of vigilance and listening to children. The tale sparked conversations about trust, and the need to protect the vulnerable. Years later, Ṣèyí and Àbíké looked back on that dark chapter of their lives with mixed emotions. Though it was a time of unimaginable pain, it also revealed the strength within them and the love of their community. They vowed to always protect one another no matter what challenges came. The lessons learned from their ordeal became a guiding principle for families in the community. Parents became more attentive to their children, ensuring open communication and prioritizing their well-being. Trust, while important, was no longer given blindly. The story of Ṣèyí and Àbíké served as a powerful reminder of this. Madame Fumaleo never fully forgave herself for what had happened, but she used her experience to educate others. At the market, she would often tell other mothers, "Always listen to your children, no matter how small their voices may seem." Her words carried the weight of hard-earned wisdom. The Adejobi compound, once filled with fear and sorrow, slowly became a place of hope and renewal. The girls found solace in their mother's unwavering love and the support of their neighbors. Their laughter, once silenced, gradually returned, filling the compound with a sense of normalcy and healing. Kunle's name became synonymous with betrayal and evil. His banishment was a warning to anyone who might exploit trust. Though his whereabouts remained unknown, the community found peace in knowing that justice had been served. The scars he left behind were a reminder to always stay vigilant. As the years passed, Ṣèyí and Àbíké grew into strong, resilient young women. Their story inspired others to speak up against injustice and protect the vulnerable. They became advocates for children's safety, using their painful experiences to bring about change and ensure no one else endured what they had. The elders of Ìbàdàn often referenced the girls' story during community meetings. "We must always protect our children," they would say. "They are our future." The tale became an integral part of the town's oral tradition, passed down to younger generations as a lesson in vigilance and responsibility. The sisters, now older, never forgot the darkness they had endured, but they also remembered the light, the courage they found in each other, and the support of their community. It was this balance of pain and hope that shaped them into the compassionate, determined women they would become. "All parents must remember this," Zay often said when sharing her story. "Your children's voices matter. Pay attention to them, even when they're small. Evil doesn't announce itself. It hides, waiting for an opportunity. Only vigilance and love can protect what matters most." Her words resonated deeply with others. The story of Ṣèyí and Àbíké became more than just a cautionary tale. It was a call to action, a reminder to cherish and protect the innocence of children. In every corner of Ìbàdàn, their courage was celebrated, and their resilience inspired hope in even the darkest of times. Today, the Adejobi family stands as a testament to the power of love and community in overcoming adversity. Though their journey was painful, it became a source of strength and wisdom for others. The sisters' laughter, once silenced by fear, now echoes as a beacon of hope for all. Thank you for sharing this compelling and deeply emotional story. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories that captivate, inspire, and shed light on important issues. Your support helps keep these narratives alive. Stay tuned for more.